cow, they don't give you the good that's when you supposed to put a couple dollars with it and get that good okay? And I know damn well they ain't told her to string that baby up like on no goddamn piñata.
Karlissa did not just hop online and clear her throat. Baby, she walked into the chat like a Zeus reunion. Security guard already knew somebody was getting dragged before the commercial break. The internet thought this was just another Chrisean rock debate, another messy live, another family argument with Wi-Fi and bad timing. But Karlissa said absolutely not. Because this time she is not letting the cloud excuse save anybody from the real conversation. And the gag is, while fans were yelling mind your business, Karlissa was asking one brutal question. If everybody cares so much, why does the setup look like the internet ordered accountability off Amazon with 2-day shipping? Now the whole timeline is split like a reality showcast after the lie detector results drop. Because some people think Chrisean is trying, some think Karlissa is doing too much, and others are staring at that treadmill situation like it just opened a brand new courtroom on Instagram. Karlissa said she wants real doctors, real therapy, real plans. And she is not accepting baby steps when the internet has been selling fairy tales for months. But the messier part is not what she said about Chrisean. It is who she dragged into the fire next. So the whole mess started with one thing the internet loves more than peace. And that is a grown family argument with receipts, accusations, and everybody acting like they suddenly got a doctorate from an Instagram university. Karlissa jumped online already irritated because fans kept accusing her of chasing clout off Chrisean Rockand Jr. But she flipped that argument upside down so fast the timeline needed a seatbelt. She basically said, if this cloud is so powerful, why is everybody still arguing over health, resources, stability, and what Junior actually needs? And that is where the tone changed, because Karlissa was not just mad at Chrisean, she was mad at the fan base, the defenders, the excuse makers, the people sending DMs, and everybody who kept acting like concern was automatically hate. She said fans had been telling her Junior was walking, talking, jumping, playing ball, and doing everything except hosting the Bet Awards. But now all of a sudden the same internet is talking about therapy. Baby, that contradiction came in louder than a Zeus reunion chair flying across the room. Karlissa's issue was not simply that Chrisean posted something with Junior, because at first, she admitted she thought maybe it was just cute or playful. But once she heard people calling that treadmill setup physical therapy, the whole mood shifted like a Kardashian dinner when the wrong sister brings up the group chat. Karlissa said she was not buying it, not accepting it, and definitely not letting the internet dress it up as some professional treatment plan if no actual professional was there explaining what was hot. Pinning, that is when the pinata comparison took over the entire live, and once she said it, the phrase basically became the headline, the caption, and the courtroom exhibit all in one. Karlissa kept saying the baby looked strapped up over a treadmill like a setup she did not believe a real therapist would recommend, and whether people agreed or not, that visual had the comment section fighting for its life. Some fans were shocked, some were offended, and some were pretending they did not understand why the whole thing looked messy, but Karlissa was not backing down, because she framed the entire situation as bigger than Chrisean's feelings, bigger than fan wars, and bigger than people calling her a hater in her mind. This was about Junior needing more than internet applause, soft comments, and everybody clapping because something was finally being shown. She wanted to see stretching, doctors, braces, appointments, specialists, and an actual plan that looked like somebody was taking this seriously beyond a quick post that could calm the timeline for one. Afternoon. And here is where the drama got spicy, because Karlissa did not just question the setup, she started questioning the entire history of what fans had been told. She said people had been sending her updates claiming Junior was already doing all these advanced things, and now the conversation suddenly sounded different. That is the kind of messy contradiction that makes the internet pause mid-scroll, because if everything was allegedly fine before, why did one video suddenly open the door to a whole debate about therapy, progress, and urgency? Then came the clout argument, and Karlissa treated that word like it owed her money and missed 3 payments. She kept asking what clout was really doing for anybody, especially if people were still arguing over basic care and resources in her version of events. Fans kept screaming that everyone wanted Chrisean's attention, but Karlissa was saying attention without action is just knows what eyelashes on. And honestly, that line of thinking gave the whole live a sarcastic edge that made the Messier even harder to ignore. The internet loves to throw mind your business around until the business gets posted publicly. And Karlissa leaned all the way into that contradiction. She basically said nobody summoned the viewers into the live, nobody forced them to comment, and nobody made them participate in the debate. Yet everybody wanted to police who was allowed to speak. That is where the story started feeling like an internet courtroom, because one side was yelling leave her alone, while the other side was asking why public posts cannot receive public reactions. But the deeper backstory made everything even heavier because Karlissa claimed she had already offered help long before this current meltdown. She brought up allegedly trying to help with insurance and therapy options in the past, which turned the argument from a one-day reaction into a long-running grievance. That kind of claim changes the temperature instantly because now the audience is not just watching a woman criticize a treadmill video. They are watching someone say, I tried to warn y'all, I tried to help, and now look where we are. And of course, because this is Chrisean's universe, Blueface's name floated into the storm like a Marvel post-credit scene nobody asked for, but everybody stayed to watch. Karlissa claimed he wanted to help Junior after getting out, but the situation allegedly became complicated, and she used that to push back against people saying he was the only one who should be held accountable. Now, whether people believe her version or not, it added another layer of mess, because suddenly the conversation was not just Chrisean versus Karlissa anymore. That is what made the first wave of reaction so chaotic, because everybody picked a side before the facts could even put their shoes on. Chrisean supporters felt like Karlissa was being too harsh to public and too comfortable speaking on a child connected to a complicated situation. Karlissa's supporters felt like she was saying what other people were scared to say, especially when it came to whether fans were enabling too much. And the neutral viewers were just stuck in the middle, watching the timeline turn into family court with ring lights stopped by the end of the first meltdown. One thing was obvious, Karlissa was not in apology mode, soft mode, or let me choose my words carefully mode. She made it clear she was going to keep speaking every time she saw something she believed was not good enough. And that is exactly why the internet thinks this could get uglier, because once a family issue becomes public entertainment, every post becomes evidence, every clapback becomes gasoline, and every silence starts looking suspicious. By the time Karlissa kept going, the internet was no longer just watching a live. It was watching a whole digital cage match with everybody wearing emotional boxing gloves. The comment section split into teams faster than a WWE betrayal scene, with one side screaming that Chrisean needed grace, another side saying Karlissa was finally saying what people whispered, and the third side just standing there with popcorn, like the Kardashians had accidentally wandered into a Zeus dressing room. And baby, every time somebody typed baby steps, Karlissa treated it like somebody had thrown a chair, because that phrase right there lit the match again, and Karlissa did not just disagree. She practically threw the whole phrase into the internet trash can and slammed the lid. She was basically saying this is not about choosing a lunch order, picking an outfit, or deciding whether today is the day to organize the closet. This is a child, a real situation, and in her mind the timeline had no business treating serious concerns like a slow-motion character development arc. She wanted urgency, not soft captions with heart emojis taped over uncomfortable questions. Then the memes started doing what memes always do, turning a family issue into a comedy roast with courtroom energy and reality show sound effects. People were comparing the treadmill setup to Amazon gadgets, home experiments, backyard inventions, and those dramatic movie machines where the scientist says, "Trust me," right before everything explodes. But underneath the jokes, the conversation was not light at all, because Karlissa kept dragging the focus back to one thing. She wanted to know where the professional plan was, where the specialists were, and why the public only saw a setup that made people argue harder. And that is where the contradiction became the real villain of the episode, because the internet had spent months acting like Junior was already making major progress. According to Karlissa, people were sending messages saying he was walking, eating, talking, moving, improving, and basically living inside a highlight reel. But now that a therapy conversation entered the room, suddenly everyone wanted patience, privacy, and soft voices. That shift had the timeline looking sideways. Alliances started shifting too, and that is when the mess really entered season finale territory. Some people who normally defend Chrisean began admitting the setup made them uncomfortable, while others who usually cannot stand Karlissa were suddenly saying she might have a point buried underneath all the yelling. That kind of shift is dangerous in celebrity drama, because once the middle cross starts moving, the fan base loses control of the narrative. It was giving Zeus backstage fight. But instead of security dragging people apart, the comment section was dragging everybody into the same flaming circle. Karlissa's strongest weapon was not even the insult, it was the demand for proof. Because proof is where internet stories either calm down or catch fire. She kept pushing the idea that people needed to see real plans, real care, real professional guidance, and something more convincing than a setup that made half the timeline nervous. That does not mean every accusation was automatically true. And it does not mean the public knows everything happening behind closed doors. But in the world of viral drama, once somebody asks, "Where is the plan?" silence starts sounding louder than a clapback. Chrisean, meanwhile, was stuck in the kind of impossible social media trap where every move can be twisted into another debate. If she posts Junior, people analyze the background, the setup, the timing, and the caption like they are solving a Kardashian scandal with FBI-level zoom. If she stays quiet, people say she is hiding. If she responds, people say she is defensive. And if she tries to move on, the internet drags her right back into the same storyline like a reality show producer whispering, "No baby, we still need one more scene." The strangest part is that both sides kept claiming they were standing up for the same child, but the conversation kept turning into a battlefield around the adults. Karlissa framed herself as a voice for concern, Chrisean's supporters framed her as a mother under attack, and the viewers kept switching between sympathy, suspicion, and sarcasm depending on which clip hit their feed first. That is the tragedy, hiding under the entertainment, because the louder the adults argue, the easier it becomes for the internet to forget the center of the story is not a headline. It is a little boy whose life should never be reduced to reaction content. Still, Karlissa's warning landed like a cliffhanger because she basically made it clear that she is going to keep watching and keep speaking if she feels the situation is not improving. That means every future post from Chrisean could become a new episode, every therapy update could become a debate, and every family mention could turn into another round of digital cross-examination. The internet thinks this could get messier because Karlissa is not acting like someone who wants one viral moment and then disappears. She is acting like someone ready to turn the pressure into a whole campaign. So now the real question is not whether this drama is over, because clearly it is not even close to finished. The real question is whether Chrisean will show something that quiets the critics, whether Karlissa will double down even harder, or whether another person from the circle will jump in and make the situation spiral into a brand new chapter. Because the moment Karlissa said she was not letting up, the internet heard more than a rant, it heard a warning. And if Chrisean responds the wrong way, this whole thing could turn from a messy live-in to the next family war nobody can stop watching. Now y'all already know the situation is not cooling down, because Karlissa did not press live just to whisper, blink twice, and log off like nothing happened. She came in swinging. Chrisean's fans came in defending. The comment section turned into a custody court with ring lights. And somehow that treadmill setup became the most debated piece of equipment on the internet. So go ahead and smash that like button like it owes you money, because this story is getting messier than a Zeus reunion with no security and too many microphones. And drop your thoughts in the comments, because we need to know if Karlissa is doing too much, if Chrisean needs to show more, or if the whole internet has officially turned this family drama into a Marvel multiverse of accusations. Subscribe to Secret Scoop, because baby, when the drama starts knocking, we do not peek through the blinds. We open the door with receipts, sarcasm, and a fresh pot of chaos. Until the next twist hits the timeline, keep your eyes open, your comments spicy, and your notifications locked on Secret Scoop.